So we are joined all the way from Oakland, California, out there in the Bay Area by my man, Jasper Smith, Mr. Build Wealth, financial entrepreneur, financial expert, former retirement counselor, but also HBCU grad. And we'll get to that in a second. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High Schools for our college and career readiness class. And we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So we thank you so much for joining us because these kids are getting ready to graduate, take their next step, and financial literacy, financial education, financial health is just so important, especially in the Black community, but really for everybody. So we're going to
Yeah.
get deep into that today. But before we do, tell us a little about your background. You went to NCA&T, the largest HBCU in the country there in Greensboro. Played baseball, just doing the whole HBCU experience. And we have several great HBCUs here in Mississippi as well. So tell us about that college experience and your HBCU experience there at NCA&T.
If only I could go back, like just you don't realize how good it is when you're in it and when you're living it. You hear people talk about this as hindsight is always 2020, but man, some of the best years of my life, got a chance to play baseball on the D1 level, so I satisfied that appetite and just the exposure to just tons of different people from all walks of life. So it was a unique experience to say the least, but man, just made some lifelong connections. um, Also, just from the educational side, and this isn't at every HBCU, every school, but like I felt like my professors really cared about me. Like being a business major, and it was almost like they were your auntie, like they were your uncles, they were like your grandparents, like they were like you're a part of this family, and when you leave here, we got to make sure you're on point. And so, like just that kind of family feeling, and everybody doesn't have that at HBCUs or any other school they might attend, but I felt like through my experience the people I was interacting with, matriculating through college, like they care. Like my dean would pull me out of class and say, "Hey, got this opportunity. Are you interested?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to go get it." Like just like things like that, where you're like, "Okay, you all care about seeing us be successful," and I know that isn't that's not you don't get that everywhere. You don't get that
Yeah.
everywhere.
Absolutely. And one last thing I want to hit on HBCUs is that I have a lot of kids tell me, we're a all black community here in Camden. I have kids tell me all the time, well, I don't want to go to a black school. I've gone to a black high school. Historically black does not mean exclusively black. So I
Right.
really want to know that, especially, here at Jackson State, they have a huge international population. They're getting more and more
Yeah.
diverse in their student bodies, which is going on across all HBCUs around the country. So I don't want anybody to be discouraged thinking, look, I've been going to a black high
Agreed.
school my whole life. I don't want to go to a black school. It may be majority black. It may be historically black. It's not exclusively black.
But the key thing is it's high school versus college. That alone makes it different. So regardless
Absolutely.
of the makeup, you are in a different setting. It may have a similar feel, but it's college. So yeah, I went to a black high school, right? So it doesn't, it's irrelevant. It's college. You are in a different environment where hopefully, and I push education just because I want you to learn about what you want to do. Like I think college is that kind of safe space to where you can fail and struggle and people are willing to help you. Your life isn't dependent on it. I mean, I could be generalizing, but normally you're there to learn about who you are. Learn,
Yeah.
like, how do you learn? What do you like trying stuff out. But again, you're in that safe kind of ecosystem of, okay, my paycheck isn't connected to the grade. The grade is important, but what am I learning by going through this experience? And will this help me when I am a full blown adult and out of this kind of safe environment where it's okay to fail? It's okay to fail a lot. It's okay to not know what you're doing. Because in the real world, you don't get some of those opportunities because it's like you either have a job or you don't, and you're
Yeah.
out or you're in, or you're out or you're in. Here it's like, hey, let's help you to grow and develop, and I wouldn't trade those 4 years, man, for anything. I mean, just priceless time in my life.
That's awesome. I know it's a great school. Now, that was a great segue because we have mainly seniors in here with me right now. I got a couple of juniors, and a
Okay.
lot of seniors be seeing this later.
Okay.
We're just a few weeks away from graduation. And I've said over and over again, you know, I think we're going to have a lot of successful kids. We got a lot of talent. We got a lot of intellect across all of our school district. But these are the types of things that if you don't pay attention, if you're not at least aware and start making good financial decisions right now, it can be detrimental to your long-term success. Even if you are a hard worker, even if you are extremely intelligent, extremely respectful, the small things are what hold people back. And I love your background there about generational poverty. Look, I'm the first person to say the rural black community of America was left behind on a lot of this education. You will never hear an argument from me on that because it's true. But now the world is changing, resources are changing, opportunities are changing, and these kids have the chance now to be informed and intelligent when it comes to financial decisions.
Yeah, agreed. I'm with you. You don't have an excuse now. I'm sorry. Like I know no matter where you are in this country, we have access to technology. Even if your Wi-Fi isn't the greatest in a rural area, I still tend to see too many of our youth and even adults. We're just not focused on the right things when we're hanging out online that are going to help uplift us and or put money in our pocket or protect our families. And for your seniors, like life's about to get real. Like again, you're about to graduate. And hopefully everybody is graduating, but you got to start making real life decisions. And we know school won't be the route for everybody. So even if you're going into the workforce or going into the military, like always be thinking about like, what's the long-term play? Like, yeah, I got to do some things right now because I got to, I have to, I need to. But you're going to have those same questions 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now. So I would love for all of those seniors to really be thinking about like, how do I make this next play? And it does this next play set me up for the long term? Because I thought I knew
Absolutely.
I, a lot of them may be thinking like, I'm not sure what I want to do when I grow up. Hell, I didn't know. I went through 4 years of school and was still like, I know I can get a job, but I don't really know what I want to do. Like I wasn't going to go pro in baseball. So I was like, all right, forget the pro dream. I just enjoyed being a college athlete. So
Yeah.
for anybody who has that athletic ability, like live it up, maximize your time while you're playing. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, but they can never take that brain away. So despite the physical talent you may have, that's still going to run its course. So you still got to
Yeah.
think about like what's the long-term play by what I decide to study, in addition to anything extracurricular that you're doing. So that that is what I want people to think about is the long play. You got to play the long game. Got to play the long game.
Yeah, and you talk about this on your website and in some of your videos about people come from generational poverty, but there are opportunities now to get out of that. And it's all about a mindset. You may not go to college. That's fine. There's a lot of lucrative jobs that don't require a college degree, and we try to make everybody aware of that. But when it comes to things like life insurance, when there's a tragedy in a family, it's bad enough that somebody's lost a loved one, but then having to raise money for a funeral. You see the hashtag now, stop GoFundMe funerals. And as sad as it is that the community loses somebody, it puts another burden on the community to have to raise money to honor this person in their death. And also, you see the big meme about they need to lower the retirement age. And I know you specialize in retirement. I'm not even a financial expert, and I can tell you retirement doesn't have anything to do with the age. It has to do with the amount of money you have saved.
That's
So,
right.
you don't
That's
need to be
right.
looking at balling out with a check when you're 18, 19 years old and you haven't put anything aside for retirement. Social Security is not going to be available by the time these kids are 65. It may not be available by the time I'm 65. So our grandparents' days of having the Social Security is over. And I always say, well, no matter where you work, if you have a company, work for a company that matches anything on a retirement
Yeah.
account, if you don't put that maximum, you are outside of your mind. That is free
Yeah.
money you never had to work for that you'll be able to live with in retirement.
Yeah. You said a couple of things here. So here's the play for even if, you know, being a senior in high school, you are aware of how you're aware of like what it takes to be an adult. Some of you may be paying bills, some of you may not have any responsibilities, and then you have everybody in between. So when you as you become an adult, and again, this is something I would challenge all of your seniors to do is you want to start the discussion at home. Whoever you live with, your parents, guardians, cousins, whomever, like the part of this whole disrupt generational poverty comes from people in certain communities don't talk about money. We
There you
stress
go.
over money. We do illegal things to get money, but we don't have like a real conversation about how do we earn it, how do we keep it, how do we invest it, how do we save it, and yes, you also need to know how to spend it because even if you have the money, are you spending it wisely? Again, I'm all about living it up. Like YOLO, I'm all about that. You only live once. I get it. I'm with it. But what if? What if you live to be too old? And I have clients who are in their 60s who are like, you know what? I had a good life. but I didn't save or invest enough when I was younger. And that is hands down the best advice I've ever received from my elders has been when you are young, even if you don't understand all these different products and solutions and stuff out there, that's fine. Save money, invest, and you want to get those insurances, like you said, life insurance early in your life. Why? Because time is your friend. Time is your friend from saving from a compounding standpoint. Time is your friend from an investing standpoint because of compounding. Time, in terms of age, life insurance is more affordable when you're young. So I've got clients right now, Greg, who they need life insurance and they are just old and not healthy. So they have to pay a lot more because they have to get it. Or to your point, they don't get it. And now your family is left with this bill when you die unexpectedly. And so, again, not trying to scare the kids. This is just called adulting 101. You're going to have to do stuff. So it is just if I can become more comfortable with a lot of these financial concepts, that is the very first step. And I'm a big fan of YouTube University. I've probably got a PhD at YouTube University, who is not an accredited institution, but my goodness, the level of free information that exists on every financial topic, right? Every topic. Again, some are scammers, some are not, some are legit, but it's just we don't obsess over this stuff, and that's what the wealthy do. They obsess over their money, over their savings, over their investments, over their insurance, over their businesses. And so if there's any one of your scholars who is like, I want to be rich, show me. Talking is cheap. Like, go learn. You want to do real estate? Go follow a realtor. Go hang out with a realtor who's local. You want to learn how to invest? Call an investment advisor who's at a firm in your city or town. They will love to talk about how awesome they are. Like, if you're trying to get rich, you've got to do something different.
Yeah,
Got to. Mandatory. Guaranteed.
absolutely.
If you don't do something different, you will be average and mediocre. I don't think anybody dreams or fantasizes about being average or mediocre, but they end up becoming that because they didn't do what it took to be great.
Yeah, it's all about a lot of young people fall into the Instagram lifestyle. They see the stuff that's all cool and fancy on social media, and they try to keep up with it. That's a huge mistake as far as spending, and it's an easy trap to fall into. And we've all been guilty of it. Let's face it. But you hear about these athletes that blow through hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're like, how are they broke? Well, they were trying to ball out, and spending money instead of investing it wisely.
Yeah. And I think this is why I'm so big on like having the conversation multiple times and in multiple settings, because you don't typically pick up a concept and understand it completely on the first try. And I'm still learning stuff, right? Like, I don't get it right every time, but part of like what I do as a financial planner, financial expert, is I'm just trying to help my clients make progress. So it's progress over perfection. Just be making progress, and progress based on what you want. Your family's gonna have something to say, your significant other, your brother, your cousin, your sister. Everybody's gonna tell you what they think you should be doing with your life, but you need to be in the driver's seat. Stay in the driver's seat your whole life. Whether it's financial, you should be in the financial driver's seat. If it's your career, stay in the driver's seat. You're gonna need help, so you're gonna need other people in the car, and that's kind of my role as the advisor, Greg. Is I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and I got a little sheet of paper like, hey, you told me you want to go this way. Here's what I would do, and I'm just trying to navigate them through. But ultimately, I don't tell people what to do. I make suggestions. I make good suggestions based on what I was told. So for a lot of my scholars there, I want you all to think about your current relationship with money, and if it sucks, you need to change that. Pretty simple, right? If you don't, if your family can't just talk about money and nobody catches feelings or gets upset or gets like the clammy palm, the clammy palms, and like, oh God, why are they asking about my credit? You should talk about credit, right? So for all of you, have you established credit? I'll take a step back. Do you all have a relationship with a bank or a credit union? That's the very first one that I
Yeah,
preach
and a
to all
banker
my
credit union
scholars.
is not Cash App. I made that very clear
Thank,
before you came on. I use
yes,
Cash App too for certain things to pay people, but that's not
it's
what
not
I'm
a.
using as my bank.
I agree, and but that's where we are in life, right? We're so reliant upon the apps who are pseudo banks, pseudo financial institutions. They're playing dress up as a financial institution, and they can get away with making things easier, but then you miss some of that underlying protection and security. So I know it's a convenient thing to send your friend the cash, right? Literally through the app, but I would need and hope that all of you establish a relationship with a tried and true bank or credit union
Absolutely.
initially. And at this age, if you haven't started thinking about how you're going to begin your credit journey, because I have too many clients who have the horror story of, well, when I was in college, I got the credit card offer. I think understanding credit is what you got to do first, and
Yep.
slowly starting your credit journey, because once you're 18, you can get your own credit card, credit line. You don't necessarily need a card. There's some other options that exist,
Yep.
but I think establishing some credit is part of playing the game the right way.
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to talk about next. I'm so glad you brought that up
Okay.
because we were talking about, even if your parents don't have great credit, and that's okay. Everybody wasn't educated on this. But
Yep.
once you turn 18, you can do small things like getting a cell phone in your name. Look, I used to work in the cell phone industry. It is extremely easy to get a cell phone on your name. Believe
No
me,
doubt.
they want the subscriptions. So you can get a cell phone on your name. You can get whenever you get your first, when you first move out of the house, get some
Yeah.
utilities in your name because you have a video about this on your credit. You may not pay. You may think, oh, this is stupid, whatever. Bad credit can cost you a job. If
Yep.
you are neck and neck with somebody in a job interview, and we've talked a lot about job interviews. You may be a
Yeah.
great candidate on paper, but if they do a background check and somebody's got a 750 and you've got a 500, the 750 is getting the job over you, and that's just a fact.
Yeah. And it's only because they just need some way to judge your character. Doesn't mean they got the better candidate, but you having that lower credit score talks about something bigger than you. Your willingness to pay back, your willingness to pay on time. So there's also an option. I'm not sure if you're familiar with these, Greg. There's what's called a credit builder loan. This doesn't require you to get a credit card or a cell phone. You don't have to buy anything. All you need to do is you set up a payment. And I think the minimum is like $25 a month. So if you have a
Wow.
minimal job or an internship or somebody's just paying you in cash, long as you have some money coming in, this is what I preach. Get the credit builder loan. And what you do is you make payments. You don't get a card. There's nothing. You just make the payments. But that payment is reported to all three of the credit bureaus. And Greg, I'll share some
Wow.
resources with you. This is my
Cool.
go-to where somebody's like, but I heard I got to get this. No, you don't. You need to do this credit builder loan because that keeps you out of harm's way. You cannot overspend. But if you can make that minimal commitment of like 25 bucks a month, and if you can do that for a year, you will have a year's worth of credit history. So forget
Wow.
trying to even apply for a credit card. Just do this credit builder loan as a good option. Or speaking back to this whole having a relationship with a bank or a credit union, you can do what's called a secured credit card. So you set the limit with a deposit. So you cannot run afoul because you put the money up first to set your limit. Usually it's $250, $300. But again, you can't generally get into trouble because that safeguard is in place. So my biggest two for like younger folks starting out is the credit builder loan or a secured credit card are my only two options for a young person trying to establish their credit history. Those are my go-to every time.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we talked about, especially on these college campuses, community college campuses, you'll see these people with these tents, with all these
Yep.
people balling out with the t-shirts, trying to
All
get
the
you to get
swag.
trying
All
to
the
get, I
swag.
just get, I even see it. I was saying, I even see this at NBA games. Well, they're giving away a t-shirt of the team if you sign up for a credit card. And then, Academy Sports is notorious for this. You go, well, you can save 25% today if you sign up for a store credit card. And I would say the answer is always no. And, I hate to pick on our young ladies because I know they like to shop. So many young ladies get in debt at a young age because they get a Belt credit card or they get a Victoria's Secret
Yeah.
credit card, and those interest
Yeah.
rates, I don't know how they're even legal, but they can absolutely ruin you financially because you're trying to shop and keep up with the Joneses.
And here's the flip to that. It's not inherently wrong to get the store card. Let me say that. But if you can't manage this effectively, you're going to run into that issue of owing the balance, not being able to pay it off. and getting creamed by the absurd interest rate. However, if you have learned how to manage your credit effectively, and I got lucky that my mom gave me the talk when I was in college because I called her. I was like, I'm getting all these offers. I see the t-shirts, the swag tables. And my mom is like, let me break it down for you. And I asked her every question in terms of like, I heard this, I heard that. She was like, nope, 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 and nope. Here's what you do: get the card, use it responsibly, meaning don't spend a lot, pay it off in full. So for my ladies who, if you love a Vicky's Secret or whatever store is popping online and they have a card, I'm okay with you getting a card. I just want you to be responsible in your usage. So I think that's also kind of this negative connotation, like of like just when people say credit, they think is bad. And granted, yes, they're marketing to get you to buy more, but when you are trained and you know what you're
Yeah.
doing, you can use that to your benefit to get the store discount because you love shopping at said store. So I think we also got to start to have this kind of, I call it it's got to have this paradigm shift. Like we got to shift how we think of credit. Credit is good if you use it right. If you use it wrong, it'll screw you over. So if I could coach you and work with you to think through like, okay, I don't have but $10, so don't go spend 11. That's where we all got into trouble, right? I see the
Yeah.
limit says 15. I only got 10, but because I got this credit card, I spend 15. So just spend the 10, pay off the 10. You don't run afoul. Your credit stays good. You made the on time payment. You never worry about interest charges.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
just a couple more things to talk about before I get to the
Yeah.
students' questions is
Yeah. Yeah.
when you really talk about disrupting generational poverty because look, every kid doesn't come from a great situation. I always say nobody chooses who their parents are.
Yeah.
Nobody chooses where they were born. Nobody chooses what color they are. We can only do so much of what we're given. But
Yeah.
how does that can be an obstacle to so many people. But what can people do now to maybe overcome that stuff? Because like you said, there's resources now. People are waking up to the idea, and maybe some of the older generation was like, oh, I don't deal with the banks, just deal with cash all the time. And that was kind of a thinking of kind of the older crowd, but that mindset is starting to shift. So what even no matter what somebody's situation, and another thing to that is we have another guest that says just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're rich. So
Facts.
um
Facts.
so what are some ways that you can kind of get past the way where your environment may have shaped you?
So I'll issue a challenge to all the scholars. Look at your situation right now. And if you like what you see and how it's being run and operated, stick with it. If you don't like it, do whatever you can to change it or change your future reality. Because here's why I started out with that challenge as opposed to giving like blanket advice about do this, do that. If you just don't like your situation, you should do something different. Right. So if I grew up and my parents grew up poor, I ain't grow up poor. My parents did. And I used to hear their stories about being poor. I was like, that sucks. I never want to be poor. So as my true story, so my parents were like, when they got older, I'm the third kid. My parents were like, we had a kid, they had my sister pretty young. And they said, we just didn't want to do or have our children live a similar lifestyle like we grew up. So they started doing something different. They started reading different books. They started asking questions of people who appeared to be wealthy or rich. And so what you start to do is you start to learn like, okay, I shouldn't do this. I should challenge this. I should ask more questions. Like just being inquisitive, like being like having that natural curiosity about how do rich people do it. Go ask somebody who looks rich. They might not be rich. They might be the social media influencer where it just looks good and they broke as a joke. But there's somebody in your community who's rich. Somebody through the school where you can say, look, who's the richest person in my city? Yeah, I want to meet him or her. And just ask, how did you do it? What do you do? And I think what that does, it starts to play on your mind. So now you may go home and nobody ever talks about money or business or the stock market or real estate, but then you just had lunch with somebody or had coffee and they're like, yeah, we talk about business all the time. Like life is business, money is a game. And here's the play about it being the game, like the money game. You will learn the rules and use them to your advantage, or you gonna get played.
There you go.
And no matter what you decide, you're going to participate, but you have the choice. And I think that's what I challenge all my scholars and my clients and people who come from underserved, low to moderate income or poor communities. Yo, do you want to get it? If you don't want to do it, stay poor and stay on the struggle bus. But nobody dreams and fantasizes about that. So I question you, are you just saying you want to do better or will you do what it takes? And let me say this, it's not going to be easy. You're going to lose some friends, you're going to lose some family. They're just not going to be able to talk to you because you're on a different level. I got friends, right? I'm from North Carolina. I live in California now. I got friends I can't talk to much. I can't talk about life because they don't understand the level that I'm on. I just can't talk to them straight up. I love them, but we can't have an intelligent conversation about business, taxes, retirements. I just can't do. I can't go down to their level because I need you to level up.
There you go. Now, the last thing I wanted to hit on before I get to the questions is we have so many students that say, I want to be an entrepreneur. That's the big trend. You see a lot of it on social media. And I tell this all the time, and I know they get sick of hearing this. I'm a big fan of Jasmine Sullivan, but her song where she talks about, I'm just going to move to Atlanta, open a business, and be rich, it doesn't work like that. We all see the glitzy side of entrepreneurship. And I know you've been an entrepreneur for quite some time now, but there is a lot of planning that goes on, and it is far from any instant riches when it comes to running your own business.
Man, if I could only show you my scars because they run deep. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. You could have immediate success and then go under the next month. You could have a more of a slower progress and you still don't make it. You won't know how successful you will be until you jump in. But let me say this, you don't have to jump all the way in. If if you have an idea or a business you want to get involved with, I would recommend you shadow somebody or reach out for like an informational interview and do like multiple people so that you can kind of get the all the little nuggets you're gonna need to start. It doesn't even mean you're gonna be successful because you still have to do the work. Like they can't just hand you the keys and you know how to drive a car. You got to learn how to drive. But you can have a lot of success. It's not going to come easy for some, or for most, it won't come easy. But again, even if it comes easy, you're going to run into a rough patch at some point. And for those who have that immediate success, they may falter right away because they've never dealt with failure. It's like sports. If you've always won and then you get to the pros and you get drafted to a sorry team, you're like, I don't like losing, but this organization is okay with it. It's the same dynamic. You've been a winner your whole life up into the pros. You're like, now I'm on a losing team. And that's when you become a real pro because now you got to learn how to deal with failure. You have to have this kind of quick mindset of hearing no and turning the page. You're going to hear no 80, 90% of the time, but those yeses are so valuable. And if you're going down the road of entrepreneurship, it's okay to still have a job and have some stable income. Straight up. You can do
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, and something that I've found out because we have a lot of entrepreneurs as guests. Most entrepreneurs that I'm seeing are still working a job at least part time to have
Yeah.
steady income, to have some sort of insurance or some sort of benefits. Because if you're not doing that, you're paying for it yourself. That's not cheap.
And that's what makes the most sense for me is that the internet has made you think you have to be 100% entrepreneur, but you can go that route. It's just you're gonna have a lot more stress because you don't have that safety net to catch you. And so I also agree that sometimes you do have to jump with both feet to fully immerse yourself because sometimes you may get some success on the business side, but you got to be able to sustain it. And that's why having some stability is helpful. But once you get to the point where the business needs more of you and you're earning more than whatever that salary is, it then makes sense to transition at that point. But again, you're going to go on this journey based on what you feel most comfortable doing. So
Absolutely.
I went 100% in and I got beat up. And then I went back and got a job. And then I jumped out again. And then I got a job. And then I so if you can just save up a whole lot of money and jump and do the proper planning and really think about your long-term strategy in terms of how you're going to scale, you may never need to go back and get that job. But while you're starting out, it's always good to have some stability in terms of income, whether that's your own or if you get married and that spouse can take care of the house while you just hustle. Just you got to think it through. Or if you're going to wing it, just know you're going to get beat up all along the way. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot.
Absolutely. Well, I do have some questions from the students. I'll get to as many of these as I can. This first one is Selena Johnson. She's a junior aspiring writer. Really wants to get into she's going to University of Southern Mississippi. That's her plan, and wants to major in literature and really wants to become a children's writer. So I think she's got a lot of talent for it. But she asked, "What is the best example of how you can stay organized when it comes to expenses?"
The, the best is still a great way, pen and paper. Just writing down what do I spend every month, and that's kind of the old school way. If you have a bank account already and you're using a debit card, you can just look at your statements every month to track what you're spending. That's probably the easiest way, is that if you have that debit card, and assuming you're not using cash, or even if you're using Cash App or Venmo, just to look at your transactions. Just do every month, or on the beginning or the first week of the next month, look back at the previous month and just see if your spending is staying the same. Is it elevated? Is it lowered? Because it'll tell you what you're, it'll talk about your habits. It'll show what you're really spending your money on, but it'll also, you'll know, was it a heavy month because you had family and friends? Were there a lot of birthdays? And so you can keep that kind of in the back of your mind forever, that just look back to see your transactions from the previous month. It's the easiest way to do it.
Absolutely. I love this one. This is Shania Kyles, one of our Blue Diamond dancers here at Velma Jackson. She's a junior, really wants to attend an HBCU and be a business major. And we've looked at some scholarships that she'll qualify for. And she's got two questions. The first one is about being a business major. And she said, "How did you build your professional life with the business major degree that you earned?"
I started looking for internships my sophomore year in college. Like, I didn't wait. Although I was playing baseball, I was like, just in case I break my arm or something, I can rely on my brain and my academic prowess to get me to that next level. And so looking at internships is one, but also no matter what school you go to, getting like buddy, like real tight with your professors and the dean of the business school. Tell them what you want to do. They will go find the resources, whether it's money or opportunities. That's their job, is to help you.
Absolutely. Now, her other question is, "I have zero experience in money management. So what are some tips that you would give me to start learning it?"
Go to the internet. Go to I love a site, investopedia.com, and they've changed the website, but there's a dictionary, and it goes through every like financial topic out there. That's just one of the resources, investopedia.com, and just take some time and read and watch the videos. That's where I send a lot of my people.
Absolutely. This is Cornell Bacon. He's a senior, a member of our state champion track team and our football team. He's going to East Mississippi Community College. He wants to pursue a career as a game warden. That he asked, "Had any time have you ever second guessed your career choice?"
Absolutely. I do it every other year. I think about, should I stay a financial advisor? Should I stay a financial planner? Should I get a job in tech? Should I go? That's life, man. Like, you, just when you think you have it figured out, something will happen. Whether it'll be some type of experience that will just make you turn left, turn right, or just stop. So I would like to say I'm figuring it out, but I don't think you'll ever really figure it out until you go off to glory. Like, you maybe when you're at that age, you're like, I think I enjoyed this life, but you may never truly know.
Absolutely. This is R.J. Jones. He's a junior. One of our, he's in the running to be valedictorian next year. Unbelievable student. And he asked, "How do you build trust and rapport with your clients?"
You ask good questions and you listen. Those are the biggest two. I mean, if you can just listen to what people are saying, and listening from the verbal, but also looking at the nonverbals, they can kind of feel your energy. And for some, you won't, it won't work out perfect every time. But if you can ask really good questions and get them talking, I need them to talk more than me in certain meetings. And then I need to listen better and take good notes and then ask them, hey, remind you repeat back what you heard because that shows that you were actually listening and you were picking up on everything. Got to be a great listener and you should ask very good questions. And that's in any business. Any business that's client facing, if you ask good questions and you listen well, your clients and customers will love you forever.
Absolutely. I just got two more. This is Dietrich Carter. He's a senior. He's also a member of our track team and football team.
Okay.
He wants to get into the physical therapy field.
Okay.
Picked a great physical therapy assistant program. So, field that needs a lot. A lot of men need to get into that. So I think he can do well in that. But he asked, "What helps you make yourself different in your life and in your business?"
I am authentic. And I've never lost sight of that. I'm learning to hone my skills and my strengths, but I'm very authentic when I speak in public, when I speak on webinars. So you don't have to question who I am as a person, like as a black man, as a father, as now, as a husband. Like I just live a certain way. Like I have a standard that I live by, but it's my own standard. And I think as you go out into life, you need to have standards. You need to value certain things and not stand for the BS. Like stay true to who you are. And if you do that consistently, as you continue to evolve and go through life, people will respect you. And that's what you want. You want to
Absolutely.
be respected.
Absolutely. I got one more. This is Cam Murray. He's a senior. He's our Mr. Velma Jackson, member of our
Okay.
band, member of our choir baseball team. And he asked, "How have your life challenges made you a better person and continue to strive for better?"
Ooh. They show me, like, I've been through a little bit. It just shows me that I'm capable. Like, I think it shows that as great as I think I am, some days life can always just throw you a curveball. And what it shows is that I've been able to be resilient. And I've had some long days, but what those long days have taught me is that as great as I am by myself, I still need others. Like I need my family, I need my friends. Like you're going to need a collective of people around you who are really down for you. And
There you
and for
go.
some, and I'm sure you've heard this too, Greg, some people will be in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Wow.
And just remember that. And that's what's helped me through any time. Some people have come and gone. Some people have been with me for a little while. And some people have been with me since I was a little kid back in Durham, North Carolina.
Wow. Love it. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking some time for us today. But a couple of things before we go. First of all, I know you got your QR code there. Tell us about your website where you have your merchandise, your books, and all that stuff.
Yeah, so the main site is the buildwealthmovement.com. That has everything there. The QR code here is just for the book itself, but I have some merch. I have the book. That's just a way of people to engage with me. I have a lot of blogs and blog articles on my website. So
Yeah.
if you're like, what does he really talk to his clients about? It's on there. And I try to use that as my like library of here's what I can assist people with. Here's what I'm knowledgeable about. But the Build Wealth movement is where I would send everybody and they can check me out and hit me up if need be.
Yeah, and really good videos on there that are short but very, very, informative. And you kind of dumb it down. If somebody doesn't understand some of these topics, you do a great job of explaining them and explaining why it's so important. Which leads me to the
Sure.
final thing I want to talk about is, these kids are getting ready to graduate. Majority of them, even the ones that will see this later, they're getting ready to take that next step, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Why, and especially these young black kids, but really anybody, why is it so important to at least be familiar with the way money works before you take that step out of high school?
If you can learn the money game right now, you'll be successful in life. If you don't, you're going to struggle. It's pretty black and white for me, right? Like if you understand how our economy runs, how money works, how you need to operate as an adult, or I'll say a financially responsible adult. If you can just learn that right now, and again, you don't have to be perfect today. I need you to just take that first step and begin the process. But it'll become second nature once you have gotten the foundation built. So at a certain point, rich people and wealthy people, they don't really think too much about it. It's just a part of their life. So me and my boys love talking about sports. But in a text thread, we could be talking about sports in one thread, and in the very next post. So what y'all think about the market? What y'all think about that stock? So being able to have different conversations. But if you don't learn the basics or the foundational stuff now, it doesn't get easier as you get older, add in more responsibilities, more bills, than your job. I mean, it's do it now, and you will be your future self will love you if you take the steps now to learn this stuff.
Yeah, and just to and briefly to close, I have lost count of the amount of students that have come back and said, "Man, I wish I'd have paid attention when you were talking about this."
Yeah. Yep. I've said the same thing to some people in my life. I wish I was paying attention in class. I wish I wouldn't have skipped class that day. I wish. Can't go back, y'all. You got one shot, and you're gonna either do it or you're gonna live with. I wish I would have done it. And I think that's part of what I would say as we close up. Don't be afraid to try and or to fail. Don't be afraid. Just go out there and say, I've got to try this so I can learn. That's what failure is about. You learn. Learn a lot. Keep on learning. Stay obsessed with learning, and you will go far in life.
Love it. Well, again, we thank you so much for taking some time for us today. My man, Jasper Smith, the Build Wealth Movement, all the way out there in Oakland, California. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, sir.
I talk to you soon, buddy.
All righty.